Hello, my name is Wisdom Eromasele, a fellow of the 3 Entity Next Gen cohort. So for the past 6 months, I enrolled in the cybersecurity track and I've undergone rigorous training in strengthening and defending business identity from cyber attacks. So to wrap up the training, I was given the project title MFA Rollout Policy for Nigerian SME. So in the next 2 to 3 minutes, I'm going to be explaining the projects which I've documented here in the slide and the reports I came up. So when I started this project, the major challenge I encountered was how do I separate Nigerian SMEs, because there's a thin line. So I discovered on SMEDAN there are 4 categories: nano, micro, small, and medium businesses. So for nano and micro, I grouped them as one, which I called small SMEs, and for the smaller and medium categories of SMEDAN, I grouped them as one, which I called large SMEs. So for the small category, I used a hypothetical business which I called Kali Food. So Kali Food is a Nigerian SME delivering delicious, hygienic, and affordable meals. And the first step to implementing any form of digital security measure is to itemize, to carry out an inventory. What are the available assets? So I created a list of assets, and these are related or can apply to any SMEs you are thinking of, although not everything might be applicable to SMEs. So the first step is to itemize the critical asset, which is the email and the banking and payment accounts. So for the email is most important because it contains lots of oil, like it can be used as the authorization method, and it's also used to create banking, payment accounts, and several of each of these accounts. So the MFA policy must be implemented based on level of importance, starting with the critical digital assets. Now, SME alone is good, but password policy also should not be underestimated. So this slide here is showing you the comparison of 2 passwords, this, and the strengths and weaknesses and the kind of passwords to use. So for this, the key takeaway is that length is the best form of defense. For password, we should always aim for at least 16 plus characters with a mix of random words, number, and symbol. So what I'm just trying to explain here is that just using complex characters alone with shorter length is very susceptible. It has a higher possibilities of being cracked. So many SMEs, they have a major challenge, which is mixing up personal and business identities together. So for this proposed framework or the policy report, the first step is to, after identifying the digital asset, the next step is to separate the business, the personal and business identity. So here you can see this is the former architecture with this policy. Now you have a separate identity for business and a separate identity for personal activities or personal life. So if the personal life is compromised, it doesn't in any way affect the business. Whereas here, with just one identity and one device, if the personal activity is compromised, then the whole business can go down with the personal page as well. So this is the lab implementation showing the process. If you have a weak password, just one attack, a phishing attempt, the whole business is gone. Whereas with a strong password and MFA policy, you are able to defend against attacks. So this is the framework and this attack surface. What can be attacked, what attackers look out for. We have people, devices, and services. People are susceptible to social and phishing, social engineering and phishing attempts. Then we also have insider threats. This is common for larger SMEs. Then we have devices, we have credential theft, malware, and then we have services that can be attacked with what's it called, data exfiltration and credential theft. So this is the theft to control mapping. As you can see here, MFA is primarily used to control password theft, phishing attempts, and social media takeover. So it's critical and it's very important to be implemented. Whereas this is for the large SME, the model for the large SMEs. For SMEs that now have employees, it's necessary that employees don't have more access than they required for. They should be given distinct role, and each role should come accompanied with the required access. So they must not be given access beyond what they need. Then when they join, they must know their role, MFA installed on their system. Then when they change roles, they must be assigned a new policy. And when they leave, the roles must be revoked, the identity must be disabled. So this is the overall controlled simulation for large SMEs. Thank you. The full business policy report is contained in my report, which I submitted. Thank you very much.